Thanksgiving. It's got all the makings of a typical Steelers Ravens matchup, and it doesn't really matter who's hurt and who's winning, who's losing, all that stuff. I mean, I think they've lost 2 in a row, and I don't know this. I don't know, has a Harbaugh-led Ravens team ever lost 3 in a row? If they have, I don't know when. So we anticipate them coming in, and we just got to give them our best shot.
Will Graves?
Hey, Ben. They're not practicing today. That was just announced a little bit ago. I'm curious, not as a competitor, but as an NFL player, would you prefer a situation where the playing field was absolutely level going in and week out, or is this just sort of in 2020, you just got to make the best of your situation and hope everything works out?
Yeah, this is just an unusual year when it comes to, everything that we have to do and that everyone has to do. I mean, we saw it early, obviously, with the Titans game and buys and all these kind of things. I mean, what are you going to do? You just gotta do what they tell you and go play ball.
Jeff Hathorn?
Hey, Ben. We've asked you about unselfish receivers. Where would Vance McDonald fit into the mold of guys being unselfish this year, and what would it mean to get him back this week?
Yeah, I mean, he epitomizes what it is to be a selfless football player, and so it's good to have him back. That locker next to me has been vacant for a while, so to see him in there today and have him on the practice field, he's got more energy than the rest of us right now, which is it's good to see. And we're excited to get everybody back. Anybody that's out for a while, whether it's through injury or this, to get him back on the field as a brother and as a guy that we can use. We're excited for him.
Jerry Dulac?
Ben, good morning. At this point of the season, when you're coming down the stretch, if you will, are you concerned at all how many times that you throw in a game? I think 4 of the last 5 games you've attempted more than 42 passes, and basically in games where you're not trailing. Do you have to watch that at all as the season goes on? And how will your practice on a short week impact you this week?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't think it really matters how many times we run or throw it as long as we win the football game. We can beat the dead horse on the RPOs, and the short passes are the same as runs, and we quote unquote need to run the ball X amount of times. No, we don't. We need to win a football game, and that's what we've been doing. And maybe we'll throw it 70 times this week. Who knows? But as for a short week, we'll coach has a plan that we'll be ready for in terms of kind of a walk through today and then tomorrow. And I probably won't throw many footballs this week. I think it's kind of one of those weeks where you don't need to throw a lot because you just played. You're coming off a game and you got another physical game this week.
Dale Lawley?
Ben, I was just wondering if you've played these guys so many times and they've been big games, do you have a favorite Ravens memory?
Oh, man. There's been a lot of them. I feel like a lot of them have come from the defensive side. Troy making the jumping over piles or one-hand interceptions. There was a home game, and it could have been any of them, but there was it might have been Troy's interception that we watched film the next day, and you couldn't even see the play really because the camera was shaking so much because the stadium was rocking. And to me, that's what this rivalry is. That's what Heinz Field is. That's what makes our fans special. I can see that image in my head right now of the whole film shaking and not really be able to see what's going on because the place is just so excited.
Brooke Pryor?
Yeah, Ben, when we talked to Ebron earlier this week, he said, there's no pressure right now being 10-0 that, you guys would rather lose now in the regular season than in the postseason when it really matters. How do you keep the guys from feeling that pressure? And how do you keep from feeling the pressure as the season goes on and you guys keep winning?
We're just trying to win the next game. That's all that matters because we know we're going to get everybody's best shot, and we want to give everybody our best shot.
Mark Caboli?
Hey, Ben, you probably didn't have a tight end threat like Ebron since maybe 5-6 years since Heath was around. What does that do for you and the offense when you have a guy of that skill set to be able to go to?
Well, it's kind of another receiver, if you will. You can move him around. You can put him outside. You can put him inside in the bunch. You can, move the chains with him. Like last week, we saw on I think it was a 3rd and short. We threw him a quick pass, and then you can use him late in the game where he caught his touchdown, where you have the jumbo run set, and you don't need a lot of receivers on the field because he's kind of that de facto wide receiver. So the fun part about E is that he's still growing in this offense because we didn't have the off season per se in terms of mini camps and all that stuff. So I think we are still learning a lot about each other.
Couple more. Aditi Kinkabala.
Ben, I know that you have been given a lot of freedom in this offense. You've earned a lot of freedom in this offense for a lot of years now. But your receivers this year are talking so much about how you are making up route combinations on the fly, how you're identifying mismatches. What is it about these receivers that you trust them enough to be able to do that so much? And are you really doing it more than you ever have before in your career, or are they just talking about it more?
No, we are. We're doing it a lot, but it's because I trust them that they're going to do the right thing when you ask them to do it. It's not like I know we made a big deal about drawing stuff in the dirt, like kind of just joking, obviously, but people made a big deal about it. But really, we're using parts of the no huddle in terms of routes, but they're not in the big overall concept. So I'll tell each guy a route, but it doesn't make sense in the big grand scheme of a specific play. So each individual guy has to know what each route is, what each concept is, no matter what position they're playing. And so to me, when I made that comment, it was more, and I will continue to make it, it's more of a compliment to them. And it's tight ends too, it's running backs, it's everybody that they are able to line up wherever I ask them to line up and run. Wide receivers have to run tight end routes. Tight ends have to run running back routes. They all have to do it. They don't blink, and they do it with ease, and they've done it great the last few weeks. And so to me, that's what it's about. It's complimenting them that they're able to just do it on the fly.
Mike Pursuta.
Ben, I think you guys are fourth in the NFL in points per game. You're about a field goal behind the Chiefs per game for first. And you came out of a 27-point game Sunday saying we need more points. Mm-hmm. Are you looking at this like an arms race? Best offense wins. There's never enough. What's your process on that?
Yeah, no, it's not about other teams or rankings. We don't care about rankings or how many points per game or percentages on third down, things like that. We just want to be the best we can be. And when I made that comment after the game, it just felt like we left stuff out there. Not because we didn't hit the 30-point mark or we didn't do X, Y, and Z. It just felt like we could have done more, and that so that's where that comment came from.